here it is, Sunday afternoon, Bible story time, and it's me, Chesley, and this is Karen, and we're ready to go. Yes, we are, Chesley. We're ready to go talk about Jesus. It is so good to know the Lord and know He guides us and helps us. And Jesus loves the little children. He loves the little children. He loves men, women, boys, girls. He loves us all, Chesley. We're so glad for that. And the name of our story is what? The name of our story today is a wonderful Bible story. You know, Jesus told the truth. No, I like the truth, and I don't like to be lied to. Nobody likes that. You're right to be lied to. Jesus, he was talking to these people because they was having a bad day. The name of our story today is Bad Fishing Day to Good Fishing Day. No, I know what happened. I know what. Well, Chesley, let's just wait. Let's don't tell it all right at the beginning. Let's just start here, and it's taken from Luke chapter 5, verse 1 through 11. Luke chapter 5, verses 1 through 11. I tell you what, Chesley, Jesus can turn your day around. So we need to let Him help you because He is a helper. He's the best helper you could ever have. And we're so glad that we know Jesus and that we can tell these people that. That's right. We can tell the boys and the girls, and also there are adults listening. And are they listening around the world? Well, Chesley, they surely can, because we later post these to not only will be here on Facebook, but on YouTube, and then on Twitter, and on Rumble. And so we're just running around. Yes, we are just working for Jesus, doing our best for Him that we can do. And it came to pass that as the people pressed upon Him, oh, they were trying to iron Him? No, they weren't ironing Him. But I mean, they just pushing around. They wanted to get close to Him. They wanted to see Him. They wanted to hear Him as He would talk about God. And He was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, and He saw two ships there were just down there by the lake. And, well, they need to get out and go fishing. Well, the fellows had been fishing, and here they was just washing their nets now, getting them ready. And he got into one of the ships, and it belonged to Simon Peter. And he asked him, could you just move out just a little bit away from the land here? And he sat down and he began to teach the people out of the ship. You know, I wonder what he had to say. I tell you what, it was good. Thing. He always had good things. He wanted to uplift the people and tell them how that that the Lord was the answer, God was the answer, and he cared about their lives. You need that when they was fishing. He cared about those this is what Simon Peter here and his friends here, that's how they made their living. That was their job of catching fish. And here he was, as he said, after he finished speaking, he said, Simon, he said, go ahead and just launch out here. Just launch out and let's let down your net for some fish. You know, I know what he said. Simon said, it don't do any good. I've been fishing and I'm around. I didn't get nothing. That's what he said. In fact, just read exactly what it said was. And so, and when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, launch out into the deep. No, get out there in that deep, deeper water. And he'd been there. I don't know if Peter had been there or not, but he said, let down for a great, he said, you're going to catch a lot of fish. And Simon, he said, but Master, we've been working all night long. He said, I'm exhausted. Don't you know? Where was you then? Oh, Chesley, we wouldn't want to talk to Jesus like that. But he might not have said it, but he might have been wondering, I wish we'd had you here last night. Oh, he said, we're just tired. And he said, but nevertheless, what does that mean? It means that, well, even though we're tired and we're here washing our nets, and because you're telling us to do it, and He's the great one. He's the great, and He's the master. And so they said, okay, we're going to do it. And that's what we'll do. And when they had done that, they got all those fish, bunches of fish. They got bunches of fish and said they enclosed a great multitude of fish, and their net broke. No, they lost their fish. Oh, Chesley, they didn't. What happened is they called for their partners, and Peter and those that was with him, they called for their partners. Help us, hurry, so the fish went away. The fish were going to go away. And this is how they were making their living, was selling their fish. So what did they do? Together they pulled the net back together, and they got those fish. Oh my, it was a wonderful thing. They came and they filled both of the ships, so they began to sink. Oh, it filled them. Oh, both of them? It filled both of them. Oh, both of them. That was all two of them. It filled them up. No, and now they could make a good living. But the Lord did it. You know what? If they had rebelled against Him and said, we won't do it. No, that's kind of what Peter did. Well, at first, Chesley, I think he was just saying, all he knew to say was that, well, we fished all night and we didn't catch anything. And I think he's saying they ain't biting. I think that's what he was saying. They aren't biting. They're just not biting. But because Jesus said it, and he was a stranger. He was a stranger. Chesley, I believe they had probably seen him around. They may have spoken to him some. But I believe there was something about him that when he spoke, they were scared. No, they weren't scared, but he just spoke like he knew. like he was, I think he spoke like he was in charge. You know, Chesley, he was the Son of God. And so, because, you know, I had a man tell me one time, when you're speaking somewhere, when you're in charge, take charge. And that's what he did. He didn't, you know, Jesus didn't go around, he didn't say, well, fellas, if you want me to, you know, I'm the Son of God. I could, you know, I tell you, he was just their friend. He was their friend. You're right, Chesley. And he was right down there with him. He didn't run away where a need was. He didn't run away. He didn't go just where the thing was going good. That's right. He didn't go just where everything was going good. He saw a need. These fellas needed something. This was how they made their living. And you know, I think God he had a big plan for them. He did have a big plan for them. When Peter saw what the Lord had done and this great work, I think he realized, I'm telling you what, oh, we've seen a miracle today. He knew that. Now, whether he really knew at the time it was the Son of God, but he was, you know, I think he's beginning to get the picture. I think he was beginning to get the picture. Oh, and I tell you what, he felt, he just realized he was in the presence of somebody I think he really knew it was somebody holy. And he just realized what a sinner he was. And he fell down and at Jesus' feet, and he said, oh, you need to leave here. I'm a sinful man. And he felt so wicked that Jesus didn't say, you're wicked. I don't want to be around you. You know, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. Well, I'm holy and you're so unholy, I'm getting away from you. Oh, you know what he wanted to do? He wanted to help him. And let's just read what he said. I'm a sinful man, O Lord. He was astonished, and all that were with him at all the fishes they had taken. And so was also James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which were partners with Simon. And Jesus said unto Simon, fear not, for from now on you're going to catch men. No, he's going to make him his partner. That's right. Jesus wanted these fellows to partner with him. They were going to be some of the first disciples that he chose. And when they had brought their ships to land, they just left that and they were going to follow Jesus. And be his disciples, and he's going to teach them. You know what he's going to teach them? He's going to learn how to win people to Jesus. That's what they had seen, this great miracle, and it was going to encourage them, and they can tell others, we really believe this is the Son of God. Look what I'm going to tell you what he did for us. That was a miracle what he did. Oh, and he changed their lives where they wanted to be like Jesus. And they went out and they reached others, and it was just a miracle. It was all the time a miracle. Well, it wasn't every single day, and it possibly could have been, but from day to day, it was various miracles that would take place, and they got to be a part, and Jesus was training them, teaching and training them every single thing because he loved them. Because he loved them, and he wanted them to spread the gospel. He knew he was going to be crucified on a cross. He was going to be raised from the dead and go back to heaven. But he had these fellows here. They're going to spread the good word and tell others to do it. And then one by one, and here we are today, all these years later, we've heard it, and we're still spreading the good word until Jesus calls us home to live with him in heaven. Justly, we're going to keep doing that. But we need to know this. And I have here, wrote here, let Jesus into your boat. What if you don't have one? Well, Chesley, we're talking about into your life. You know, just to live with you. We just call it, and you saying your life is like a boat? Well, we can call it a boat, you know, that we're on the life. We call it sometimes, think about it, that you're out on the ocean with Jesus. You're out on maybe just a lake. You can look at it like that. Jesus is with you. Jesus is with us. Yes, he is through every situation. And we need to let him in. He can add meaning to our life. And I'm glad for Jesus. He'll help us go with us every single day. He cared how they made their living. You know, Chesley, he noticed that he knew they needed to make a living. And so he was there for them to help them. Does he care about parents today? He cares about parents. Yes, he does. He knows how to supply jobs. He just is good about that. But there aren't any. Well, Jesus can make a way to where there is a job. He is just the way maker, Chesley. So you can go, in this case, we're not just talking about fishing, but from just a bad day. And just like everything went wrong, you can have really sad things happen. We can have, yes, really sad days happen, things that we don't know how to fix. And Jesus can live right there with you. Jesus can live right here with us in our house, in our heart house. He can live there with us in everything that we do. Any decisions we make, we can call on him. And he's there to help us because he cares. It's not just leave me alone. No, he doesn't say, leave me alone when you got something really big, let me know. It's just like all day long. Let's just talk about Jesus. He likes us to talk to him during the day. And we just, you can out loud or in your heart. It's out loud or in your heart. I talk to Jesus during the day and tell, do people think you're crazy? Well, Chase, I'm just here at the house. There's no one else here. If I tell Jesus I love you. I appreciate you. And you can say it, when I'm shopping or when you're visiting with friends, you can be talking to Jesus and you can be praying for your friends there because we want them to know the love of Jesus and his kindness. So you can go from a bad day to a good day. And if you can go from a good day to a bad day when you won't let Jesus help you. Oh, you literally, and you'll make a mess if you don't. That's right, Chelsea. We'll make a mess if we don't. Well, you know what happened? Peter here became a wonderful disciple. I mean, tell you what, he won so many, and he wrote some of the books of the Bible. He wrote a couple of books of the Bible. And Jesse and these other disciples, how the Lord blessed them and helped them, except one that he didn't want to stay faithful to the Lord, so he left. But Chesley, I'm thankful that we can let Jesus into our life, and he will add real meaning into it. I tell you what, isn't the love of Jesus something wonderful? Yes, the love of Jesus is something wonderful. I'm glad we can let Jesus into our boat. We can call this our boat. We just say, get in the boat with us, and he's going to help us all the way to glory. I love it, Chesley. When they brought their ships to land, they forsook all and followed him. They said, this is it. This is what Jesus wants us to do. Anything got into the bind, could they fish? If they got into a bad bind, I'm sure if they needed that to fish, they could probably help other people fish that really didn't know how. But I just know this. You keep Jesus. Don't ever let go of him. Chesley, I'm so glad Jesus loves us. Jesus, we've got something. You forgot something. You did. What did I forget? You didn't let me sing the theme song. Oh, we must have the theme song. This gospel train is chugging the train, chugging the track, it's chugging at the track. This gospel train is chugging the train, chugging to the glory land. And get on board this gospel train. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Gonna see Jesus. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Gonna see Jesus. Yes, I am. Up in the glory land. And yes, Chesley, we are gonna live for Jesus, love him, and serve him with all of our heart, our soul, our mind, just our whole being, and give him every day, honor him with our whole life. And right now it's time for you to go to bed. Well, I don't think it's ready. I think your bed is ready. It looks kind of a mess. I think you need to get me a new one. Chesley, we've looked for you a new bed, but we haven't found exactly what we wanted. So until we get that one, well, I can just stay up. No, you can't stay up. You need to go to bed. I think you're doing a stall job. You know where I went where this week? Yes, Chelsea, you did. We took you down to Waxahachie, just below Waxahachie. And we were there at a camp meeting. And afterwards, they had a time where they let us and Brother Bob Teal and his dog named Shadrach. His dog named Shadrach. Yes, not a real dog. And then we got to see Susie, who was Janet Alexander's little girl. And I was on to marry her, and so was that dog. Oh, I know, and you two got into it. But anyway, we're safe and sound now. We're back home. Everything is well. And I think you're doing a stall job. Tell everybody goodbye. And I'll see you next week, and I sure do love you. Yes, we do. You have a great rest of the day. Next Sunday afternoon, we look forward to seeing you. Goodbye.